There are 2 weeks left, or now 1 week left in the football season. And when it gets time to this time of year, you know what Mclovein does? He gets a haircut is what he does.
Yeah,
Because it's playoff football time.
correct.
Look at that. Look at that guy. Look at him. So the deal is, let's go right on into the news and notes. We got a ton to talk about. And a ton happened today, breaking news. A whole bunch of different stories we'll get to in a moment.
Okay.
But first up, this is some stories that happened last week. Christmas miracle. Browns get first win of season. The Browns collected their first win of the season Saturday, beating the Chargers 20-17 to avoid falling to 0-15. And I believe the general consensus on the show was there is no way in hell San Diego is going to lose this game.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought, but, obviously I was wrong. The Browns was a huge win for them to stay out of that 0-16 company. Give a lot of credit to them. It was a close game. San Diego missed 2 field goals to tie the game up late. Converted on a big fourth down, and then the kicker obviously missed 2 field goals. But the Browns jumped out to a big lead, and then San Diego was crawling back, and that says a lot about San Diego. It says a lot about the Browns players, wanting to play to win, play for Hugh Jackson. So congratulations to them.
Do you think McCoy loses his job after that loss? If he wasn't already going to, do you think this cements it?
Yeah, like I always say, there's a lot of offensive talent on that team. They can score points with just about anybody in the league, but I think in order to find a good head coach, you gotta search and hire somebody that's better than what you currently have. Now, there's a lot of coaches out there that sound interesting. But, they got to do all their due diligence before they fire someone and mainly have someone in mind before they fire the current head coach.
All right, let's go down to Titans lose to Jaguars, lose Marcus Mariota, and then lose the division. A season in which the Titans built giant playoff hopes crashed with a painful loss of their franchise quarterback and no help from AFC South rival Houston.
Correct, yeah.
It really should have been no help from fucking Cincinnati, but anyway.
Well, I mean
that game was an awful game.
Had nothing to do with it, but Tennessee just shit the bed. They had everything going for them. All they had to do was beat a lonely Jacksonville team who sucks. They're terrible. I think I told Andy that Jacksonville was going to play the best game of the year because their coach just got fired, and they was the former coach of the Bills. Maybe he keeps a job there. But I don't think he will. Tennessee has had a great year. Great running game, great offensive line. And Mariota went out, and then our buddy Matt Castle came in and actually drove the team down on a second drive to get a touchdown. But the defense could not stop, Jacksonville's high-powered offense. They had everything. If they'd won, they were in. They won the division, and I still think they're clearly a better team than Houston. But Houston I don't know how many divisions in a row they've won now, but they're going to get clocked, by their on their first home playoff game because Houston sucks. Their defense is extremely good, but I mean, even with Savage, Lamar Miller's injured, so it's going to be tough.
Source, wide receiver Lockett's leg broken, surgery Sunday. Seattle wide receiver Tyler Lockett suffered a broken right leg in Saturday's loss to Arizona and will have season-ending surgery Sunday morning, a source told ESPN.
That's a huge loss, especially for them, especially for a team that's really struggled all throughout the year on the offensive side of the ball. Obviously, they still have Doug Baldwin and Jimmy Graham, but Lockett was a nice compliment to the two of those guys, and him going down is going to be that's going to hurt, especially in the playoffs.
Packers quarterback Rodgers returns after suffering stinger. Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers suffered the first stinger of his career in Saturday's win over the Vikings.
Yeah, stinger is it's comparable to a concussion for your body, if that makes any sense. But the Packers are hot. I think they'll win out. I think they'll beat Detroit this upcoming week, which is the one game that really means something. But the Packers are hot, and I think Aaron Rodgers has something to prove after he said that the team would run the table I think, 6 weeks ago. So, watch out for the Packers. They're a team that if they do, beat Detroit, then they'll win that division. And they're a team no one wants to play.
Raiders quarterback Carr out indefinitely with broken fibula. Raiders quarterback Derek Carr suffered a broken right fibula in Saturday's win over Indianapolis, according to Coach Jack Del Rio.
Yeah, this was a tough one. Oakland, you got to give them a lot of credit. They played real well this year. And I know I'm talking like Oakland's out, but Matt Mclovein is not Derek Carr, and the defense isn't good enough to really hold that team up. So having him broken with his broken fingers throwing the ball, he took a step back with that offense, and then breaking his leg is terrible. The Raiders were actually somewhat. They're a good football team for the first time since 2002 when John Gruden was there. And they had a quarterback named what's his name?
Rich Gannon.
Rich Gannon, MVP. So it sucks because I like the Raiders. I picked them early this year to have a good season, and they did still have a good season. They're still probably going to win that division, but come playoff time, if you don't have a quarterback, you're never going to win.
Vikings defensive backs ditch Zimmer's game plan for Nelson. This was an interesting read. The Minnesota Vikings cornerbacks elected during the week to disregard Coach Mike Zimmer's strategy that called for Xavier Rhodes to shadow Packers receiver Jordy Nelson on Saturday.
Yeah, that's too bad. This team has really been a first half. They played well. The second half they were dog shit. And that's not good when the defense is not listening to their head coach and intentionally going against what he's telling them to do to win a football game on Sunday. So they really got to look deep within that team and find out what's going on, because with Norv Turner just leaving out of nowhere as an offensive coordinator, he's a Hall of Fame offensive coordinator, and now with defensive players, intentionally not doing what their head coach is telling them, there's a problem there in Minnesota. They got to figure it out quick.
Jets blowout loss stirs Richardson-Marshall feud. The New York Jets showed signs of fracturing on Saturday in the aftermath of their 41-3 loss to the New England Patriots at Gillette Stadium. Yeah,
I watched this game. They absolutely. It was like the JV against the varsity, and the Patriots could have scored 80 points. Really. But the Jets just didn't show up. They didn't play for their head coach. Sheldon Richardson is a punk. He's an idiot. He's a good player, but he really is a piece of shit. And Brandon Marshall, who's actually come a long way. He started out his career, he was a punk, but he's matured, and they're going back and forth at each other between the media. The bottom line is that Jets team sucks. Bryce Petty, you got to give him credit. He played hard. He got hurt. He's out for the year. Fitzpatrick actually came in and started moving the ball down the field. Then they just continue to miss field goals, and then they kicked the field goal late in the end just to save face. But the New England really pissed all over them, and the Jets are really in trouble. They got to find a quarterback just like every other team in the league. Sources that I hear say Bowles will be back as the head coach next year, which he coached them well, 10-6 last year, didn't make the playoffs, but this year was a debacle. Starting on whatever you want to start on the offensive defense, I
think it started when they couldn't reach an agreement with Fitzpatrick. That's when this whole thing started.
They gave him $15 million.
$15 million to wear a beard.
Yeah, pretty much. And then they gave up on him, and everyone and their mother hated him. And then he had to go in the game, and he was like, "What am I playing for?" So, the Jets are in a lot of trouble. They're getting old. They need to start drafting. They need to start, figuring this thing out, or they're going to be back to where they were before, Rex came along.
So. Wide receiver Floyd cheered by Patriots fans in debut. Michael Floyd didn't have a major impact on the Patriots' 41-3 win over the New York Jets, but he said he was pleased with the fan support during his first game in New England.
Well, New England fans, we all know they're extremely loyal, and New England fans are the smartest fans in smartest sports fans in the country. I think New York would probably be second, but they understand what this guy can do. This guy is a big-time receiver. He's big. He's physical. He's a first-round draft pick. He knows the offense. When he gets unleashed and he sees more snaps, he's going to help them out, especially in the playoffs. He's a great compliment to Edelman, and tight end there, Bennett. They can really move the ball down the field, and once this guy gets incorporated in the offense, they're going to be there's going to be high rolling, and the question will be, going into the off season, if they make a switch with Amendola, let him go and maybe keep this guy, or Hogan or something like that. But it's a good problem to have when you get Gronk back next year and you can re-sign this guy. It's only going to help Tom Brady, play longer. So I'm glad New England fans have accepted him. He made a bad decision. Obviously, if anyone watched the video of him, he was hammered, to say the least. But he'll get a shot, and Belichick, wanted him, and he got him. So now let's see what he can do.
Seahawks safety Thomas says he'll be back in 2017. Seattle Seahawks safety Earl Thomas said he was contemplating retirement after suffering a season-ending injury 2 weeks ago, but on Saturday he announced he'll be back in 2017.
Yeah, this is a egomaniac. He was out and he wanted to stir up, conversation about him, so he's threatened to retire, which is a bunch of bullshit. He'll be back just because he's never going to get a job outside of the NFL because, he probably doesn't have any working capabilities, but he'll be back next year for sure.
David Johnson ties Sanders' record 100-yard streak. Cardinals running back David Johnson matched Barry Sanders' record streak of 100-yard games by recording his 15th straight Saturday night in a 34-31 win over the Seahawks.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. This kid Johnson really came out of nowhere last year as a rookie out in Northern Iowa, and he's had a good year, solid year. It's just been hasn't really a lot have been talked about him because the Cardinals have been so underachieving this year. They haven't done what experts thought they were going to do, and he's still playing hard. He's still running hard. This is a guy who will be a force in the NFC West for the next 5 to 7 years, depending on whether he can stay healthy. But this guy can block. He can catch the ball in the backfield. He can run. He can break it. All the way to the end zone. So this guy's a special talent, and Arizona really, when you have these expectations going into the season, possibly going to the Super Bowl, and you don't do that, you kind of get lost in the shuffle. But this guy's an unbelievable talent.
With Raiders quarterback Derek Carr out, Mclovein, quote, ready to go. MVP candidate David Carr's broken fibula stunned Raider Nation, but backup Matt Mclovein said he's ready to lead the team into the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm sure he's ready, but what will happen, when he plays in a playoff game, he's not automatically going to come out of nowhere and be, Joe Montana. Nothing, none of his fault, but you're back up for a reason, meaning that you're not a starter, not good enough to be a starter. And basically, like I said, you can really go into the season, you can put 6 teams down that will be in the playoffs and have a shot at winning the Super Bowl only because they have a quarterback. This league is based on who your quarterback is and how good he is and how good he is in the playoffs. McGloin, maybe he could shock the world, but knowing NFL defensive coordinators and the way they prepare, he may be good for maybe a quarter or half, but once they figure him out, I don't see Oakland advancing in the playoffs.
Source, Vikings defensive backs freelanced on first series only.
Oh, okay.
Minnesota defensive backs freelanced on only the first series of their game against the Green Bay Packers on Saturday, when cornerback Terrence Newman covered wide receiver Jordy Nelson, that source told ESPN's Adam Schefter.
Well, that changes the whole first story. But even still, not listening to your head coach is a problem.
Packers-Lions for NFC North title flexed to Sunday Night Football. The Week 17 game between the Packers and Lions has been flexed to Sunday night, as the winner will also take the NFC North Division title.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch this game. It's going to be
it's going to be football!
It's going to be a long Sunday's going to be a long day because there's really not much to watch or much to root for. But the Sunday night game, I'm glad they do have this flex. It actually worked for one time. And it's going to be a hell of a game. I'm looking forward to watching it.
Source, 49ers running back Hyde suffered torn MCL and win. Niners running back Carlos Hyde has a torn MCL and will not play in Week 17, a source told ESPN NFL insider Adam Schefter.
Yeah, it just keeps on getting worse for San Francisco. They actually did pull out a big win over the lonely Rams, on the road 22-21, but he's he obviously, he's out for the year. We'll see what he can do, and the 49ers are going to have to figure out real quick what they want to do next year because, unless they get better talent-wise, it's going to be a long year again.
Ravens knocked out of a playoff hunt by Christmas Day collapse. The Ravens suffered one of their most painful losses ever, blowing a fourth-quarter lead to the arch-rival Steelers, to get KO'd from the playoffs. I actually saw this game. McLovin was on his way back.
I was listening to it on the radio.
But I saw the game, and that guy, that running back for the Ravens, man, that white guy, I forget his name. Mc something or other. I don't know.
The guy that went to Harvard.
Correct. Yeah. That was one of some of the best runs I've seen. No, not ever seen, but some of the best runs, especially in that game, to get him to the point. And Flacco just cool, calm, and I'll use a Merriam quote: cool, calm, and collective.
Yeah, well, that's not
correct. No, it should be collect. It shouldn't be collective. Collective, like we're collaborating. Cool, call, and collected is the term. Collected, not collective. Okay, but that's besides the point. I just want to get that out there because
of course he did.
Yeah. But anyway, and then Flacco just was unbelievable on that last drive, and then Roethlisberger said, "Fuck this." And Antonio Brown, man, I mean that's reminiscent of the goal line stand in the Super Bowl against the Titans. And,
the thing that I was listening to this on the radio, and obviously you can't see anything; you can only envision in your head, but. I was listening to this. I had the Sirius radio. I was listening to the Steelers broadcast, and it sounded like they won the Super Bowl in the box there. But come to find and see the replay when I got home and put on the TV. Yeah, what an unbelievable play! He got it out there just enough time, and then just took it took it away from the guys trying to knock it out. Antonio Brown's a special player. Le'Veon Bell's a special player. Pittsburgh is, a team that, I was telling, Andy and I was saying last night, it's going to be Pittsburgh, New England, AFC Championship because the other teams pale in comparison to what those two teams can do. I mean, you got to give a lot of credit to the Ravens. They played tough. You got to give a lot to Joe Flacco. That's a tough place, especially what was on the line. It was more or less a playoff game against Pittsburgh. He drove them down, a number of times to put his team up. And you got to give Ben and Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown. Those guys are top notch. All stars, Pro Bowls, whatever you want it for a reason. They make big plays when big plays need to be made. And basically, if Brown doesn't, they didn't have any timeouts left. So if Brown doesn't get that ball in, then they may not get off another play and they lose the game. So give a lot of credit to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I can just envision it right now that Pittsburgh at New England, it's going to be like a dreary day, and it's just going to be a high scoring affair.
Chiefs Travis Kelce, best player on the field, and win over Broncos. Kansas City ended Denver's playoff hopes and took a step closer to securing a first-round bye with a blowout win over the Broncos.
Yeah, we watched a little bit of this first half, and they came out and they were kicking ass, and Kelce ran one, I think it was an 80-yard touchdown pass.
Yep.
This is a guy who, is a really, really good tight end when used correctly. A lot of times he's in the witness protection program because teams try to take him out of the offense because they know that's Alex Smith's favorite target. And, you got to give him a lot of credit. Denver, is not the same team they were last year, clearly, with their defense. But, Kansas City is another tough team, and we'll see what they can do in the playoffs. What's the score of that game?
7-0. And this guy,
State?
Kansas State, he ran it in there. It was like a 70-yard bomb.
Okay.
Ravens linebacker Suggs adamant about playing in 2017. After Pittsburgh eliminated Baltimore from the playoff race on Sunday, linebacker Terrell Suggs said he's not changing his plan to come back next year for his 15th season with the Ravens.
I don't like this guy. I don't really care about him, but he is an exceptional talent, so we'll move on.
Broncos playoff hopes officially dashed by Chiefs. The defending champion Broncos will miss the playoffs for the first time since 2010.
Yeah, they always have that team that loses the Super Bowl, the team that wins the Super Bowl, the next year slump. I don't know what the record is, but teams just don't make the playoffs next year. Obviously, with the quarterback situation with Simeon and the kid from Memphis there, they could never get a quarterback comfortable.
Paxton Lynch,
and their defense wasn't as good as it was. So, but granted, they played tough in probably the best division in football other than the NFC East. And, they won the Super Bowl, so I think the fans out there, want to win, but they'll get a mulligan on this one.
Poe's touchdown toss puts dagger in Denver's playoff hopes. The Chiefs' final scoring drive Sunday night featured a 2-yard touchdown pass from 346-pound defensive tackle Doncherry Poe. But the Broncos weren't any more frustrated with the play than they were with their effort.
Yeah, I didn't see this, but this is first.
It was like a push pass, like a shot put he threw it.
Like a big bear.
Yeah, correct. Projected 2017 NFL draft order, Browns clinging to top. The Browns finally got their first victory of the season, but thanks to a victory by the 49ers, they still own the top pick in the draft.
It's sad. It's just sad.
Top 2 seed by home playoff game still in line for Raiders. A win Sunday or a Chiefs loss and the Raiders will have a week off to start the postseason. A loss, however, could make things a little trickier.
Yeah, they need to win to get that first round bye. They're a better road team than they are a home team, but you still need to get that week of rest.
How a 4-0 start ended with no postseason for Broncos. The Chiefs officially ended the Broncos' playoff hopes on Sunday, but their comeback win on November 27th was equally damaging.
Yeah, like I said, the Broncos played. They played in a tough division, even with the San Diego team who ruffled some feathers. They had a couple wins over the other 3 NFC West teams, but 4-0 start. They had defensive injuries, the quarterback injuries. They couldn't find a quarterback. Injuries in the backfield, injuries on the offensive line. They could never get into a groove, and football is the toughest game to win. And, that's why every given Sunday means so much. So. It's just too bad, and no one feels sorry for Denver on the New England side of the over here.
Over where?
Over here. They'll move on next year. They'll be fine. They'll be in the hunt.
Falcons' Julio Jones was mindful of playoffs and returned from toe injury. Julio Jones said he limited his playing time on Saturday to make sure that his injured toe didn't flare up before the start of the postseason.
Well, they needed Julio Jones, to clinch the playoff. I think they pretty much have the NFC South wrapped up, but they clearly need him in the playoffs. If they don't have Julio Jones, they don't have a shot at winning anything. The Atlanta Falcons are, typically they've always been in the situation they've got blown out in the first round because their defense has been dog shit. Their defense is a lot better than it has been in recent years. I think Matt Ryan and Freeman and Coleman in the backfield, plus Julio Jones and Mohamed Sanu, but you got to give a lot of credit to that defensive line who's getting good pressure on the quarterback and really causing havoc. So Atlanta is going to be a difficult matchup, but definitely for sure Julio Jones has to be playing or they're going to have a long playoffs.
Cowboys defensive end Gregory returns after 14-game ban. Cowboys defensive end Randy Gregory, who was suspended for 14 games after multiple violations of the NFL substance abuse policy, returned against the Lions on Monday night.
Yeah, I didn't really watch much of this game. I had a long day. That's Christmas. But the bottom line is it's like a good defense getting a good player back, and especially healthy and ready for the playoffs. And Dallas is doing everything right. They did everything right this entire year. They made the right draft pick. They played the right quarterback. Ezekiel Elliott. Their defense has played good, not great, but adding him will definitely help their defense.
Steelers rally behind Tomlin after Icon's criticism. Steelers players rallied behind Coach Mike Tomlin, saying they weren't happy after he was criticized by Terry Bradshaw last week.
Yeah, they gotta just leave that shit in the media. I mean, I would hope that they would play tough for their head coach every single week and not, just this time. Tomlin is, I go back and forth with Tomlin. He does a lot of shit that I don't like. He has that brother gangster mentality sometimes, which I don't like. But he is a good head coach. He's won a Super Bowl, he's won division championships, and he makes a lot of ballsy calls. So they should be playing for their head coach, not just because of comments outside of the media.
Jackson, quote, cried like a baby after Browns win. After the Cleveland Browns' first win of the season, Coach Hugh Jackson broke down in tears when addressing the team in the locker room post-game.
Yeah, I mean, Hugh Jackson's a good, very good football coach, and obviously he has an emotional tie to the game, and he wants to win. He's a true competitor, and He can probably finally relax now because he never wanted to go down in history as being the head coach of a 0-16 team. That's not something that you would like to carry on your resume, so good for Hugh Jackson.
Seahawks wide receiver Lockett had broken tibia and fibula. Seattle Seahawks wide receiver Tyler Lockett had surgery early Sunday morning to repair a fractured tibia and fibula in his right leg, Coach Pete Carroll said.
Oh, boy.
Zimmer downplays deviation by Vikings corners. 2 days after a deviation in the Minnesota Vikings game plan for Green Bay Packers wide receiver Jordy Nelson, the two players involved in the incident and Coach Mike Zimmer called it a miscommunication.
It doesn't sound like a miscommunication from 3 articles that we've read. It sounds like a blatant disrespect to the team, to the head coach, and doing whatever they want with no penalty. So I don't think it's a miscommunication at all.
Titans expect quarterback Mariota for OTAs after surgery. The Titans expect quarterback Marcus Mariota to be ready for offseason OTAs after his surgery for his fractured right fibula.
Yeah, that's a ways away, but, we'll see if everything goes as planned.
Kelly, 49ers Hyde won't need surgery on MCL. An MRI revealed Carlos Hyde has a sprained MCL in his left knee, but the running back won't require surgery to repair the injury, Coach Chip Kelly says.
That's good.
Source, Jets quarterback Petty needs surgery, put on IR. Since quarterback Bryce Petty is on injured reserve, chances are that Ryan Fitzpatrick, a pending free agent, will get the start in what probably will be his final game with the Jets.
Yeah, let's see how hard he plays.
Del Rio, Raiders will, quote, carry on with Mclovein at quarterback. Matt Mclovein is the, quote, next man up for Raiders coach Jack Del Rio as the quarterback prepares to make his first start since his rookie season in 2013.
They're going to have, they don't have a choice, so you can really comment on the way, whatever way you want to. Let's hope he prepared just as hard every week as a backup as he now is going to prepare as a starter. But like I said, Jack Del Rio will be the first one to tell you it's going to be very difficult to win with a backup quarterback in the playoffs.
Cowboys offense finds its groove in beatdown of Lions. Dez Bryant had 2 touchdown catches and a touchdown pass, and Zeke Elliott ran for 2 more, as Dallas moved to 13-2 and denied Detroit a playoff-clinching win.
Yeah, the Cowboys have had a great year all around, and I think one of the biggest things that we really haven't talked about this year is Dez Bryant has been a quiet, has not been a distraction. And in the past when they've sucked, he's just been a distraction. I haven't really heard much about him. And the media drawing up all these controversies, which there never was a controversy. They just want, especially in Dallas with Jerry Jones, I know they'll get quotes out of him, but this is a good football team. They're going to be number 1 seed throughout. You're going to have to go through Jerry's house there to get to the Super Bowl, and we'll see what happens. I think the Giants can obviously go in there and beat them. They beat them twice this year. I think the Falcons could give them a game. Obviously the Packers, if they get in, if they win on Sunday, they're red hot. So the NFC is open as far as I'm concerned. But the Cowboys have earned the number 1 seed for sure.
Jaguars running back Yeldon with his ankle to finish season on IR. The Jaguars have placed leading rusher T.J. Yeldon on injured reserve the second year in a row in which the running back has failed to finish the season healthy.
Yeah, this is a running back who once you have injuries as a running back, you're always going to have injuries. You look at a guy like the running back in Kansas City there. He's never
Jamal Charles.
He's never going to be the same because he can't stay healthy and he's always hurt. And basically, as a young running back, and you're already dealing with injuries early on in your career, you're going to have to battle, to stay on the field.
Anquan Bolden moves into 9th place all-time in NFL receptions. Lions receiver Anquan Bolden continued his charge up the all-time receptions list, moving to 9th in NFL history on Monday against the Cowboys.
This is a guy who is a true competitor. He's a pro's pro. He's an unbelievable talent. He's a Hall of Famer in my mind. Whose ever team he's on, he makes tough catches. He gets tough yards. Whether he was with with Arizona and then Baltimore and San Francisco and now with Detroit, he's a winner. Every team that he joins, they play a lot better on the offensive side of the ball. He's a competitor. He helps the young guys. I really like Anquan Bolden, and I wish the league had more Anquan Boldens.
Jones, Romo to stay on bench in ideal scenario. Cowboys owner and general manager Jerry Jones said he does not want Tony Romo to take a snap in the Week 17 finale on Sunday against the Eagles because it wouldn't be, quote, worth the risk.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think they activated Sanchez. He's going to actually get some snaps on Sunday, but it doesn't really mean anything. Tony Romo has been playing football all of his life. Once he steps in the game, it's just going to be, what he's done. All Pro Bowl quarterback. So, the Cowboys are in a great spot. If Dak goes down, they have a guy that knows how to win. Even though he's on only one playoff game in his career, we'll see what he can happen. But I don't foresee Dak Prescott going down.
Sources: Giants defensive end JPP may return in playoffs. The Giants are hopeful that defensive end Jason Pierre-Paul will return at some point during the playoffs, maybe as soon as the wild card weekend.
Yeah, the Giants' defense has really carried them throughout the year, and if they can, add a Pro Bowler and Pierre-Paul back, then it's only going to help them.
Chargers could be down a number 6 running back for finale. The Chargers placed running back Kenneth Farrow on IR Tuesday, and due to Melvin Gordon's injury, could be down to their number 6 option at running back in the season finale.
That's what injuries do for you.
Breaking news as of a day ago, we already know this. Bills fire Rex Ryan as playoff drought reaches 17. Rex Ryan lasted less than 2 seasons as head coach of the Bills, compiling a 15-16 record in 31 games with Buffalo.
Well, when Doug Marrone left, I think, what were they, 9-7 when he left?
8-8.
Yeah. This is all about expectations when it comes to the Buffalo Bills and Rex Ryan. They had expectations that this guy, this coach who, was going to bring them to the promised land, and I think everyone that has a square head in their shoulders agreed that was never going to happen. The front office has done a bad job with the quarterback situation. Tyrod Taylor is never going to win anybody any games. So Rex, he comes with a lot of baggage with his mouth and, all this other garbage. And last year, you remember he was going back and forth with the defense and this and that. And, Buffalo is a difficult place to play. A lot of coaches don't want to go there because they don't want to live in Buffalo. A lot of players, you have to pay them extra money just so they can live in Buffalo. So we'll see what happens. Like I said, the head coaching, I don't want to say head coaching searches are overrated, but if you have a quarterback, if they can find a quarterback, the head coach will win off their quarterback. So they're going to have to find a quarterback and a head coach. Don't get me wrong, head coach is the second most important person in for that team and behind the quarterback. So we'll see what happens, but the Bills are right there. They're probably going to finish 7-9. But all that being said, Rex will apparently he wants to go into television. I don't see this guy staying away from football for too long. But he'd be a great defensive coordinator for any team.
Source: Jets quarterback Petty needs surgery, put on IR. Since quarterback Bryce Petty is on injured reserve, chances are that Ryan Fitzpatrick, a pending free agent, will get the start in what probably will be his final game with the Jets.
Yeah, we'll see we'll see if he has any intensity out there for the Jets.
Sources: Bills to bench quarterback Taylor, start Manuel.
EJ.
I know. Buffalo Bills are planning to bench Tyrod Taylor in the regular season finale against the New York Jets and start E.J. Manuel, a quarterback, league sources have told ESPN's Adam Schefter.
Yeah, that was clearly a decision that was made by the front office because I don't know if anyone heard the press conference today for the new offense coordinator who's now the head coach. He was unaware of the change, so it's too bad.
Tomlin: Bradshaw went too far with talk. Pittsburgh Steelers coach Mike Tomlin shot back at Terry Bradshaw with thoughtfulness, self-depreciation, and a clever dig at the Hall of Fame quarterback. Self-deprecation.
It's a non-event.
Jets to start quarterback Fitzpatrick in season finale. Ryan Fitzpatrick will start at quarterback in the New York Jets season finale against the Buffalo Bills on Sunday.
Yeah.
Who could replace Rex Ryan as Bills coach? With the Bills having fired Rex Ryan, the search is on for a new head coach. Here are some candidates, one of whom will run the team this week, which is the offensive coordinator.
Candidates, Patricia maybe. Like I said, it's not an ideal place to go.
Patricia's a woolly mammoth type motherfucker, like you would say.
Yeah, sure.
So he's going to live in Buffalo fine.
But their offense, they had a pretty good offense this year. So, it's not like you're taking over the Cleveland Browns. There's still a lot of talent there.
Source: Lewis won't retire. Plans Bengals return. Marvin Lewis intends to return to the Cincinnati Bengals in 2017. A source close to Lewis told ESPN's Ed Werder, who looks also like a mouse, disputing a report that the longtime coach will retire at the end of this season.
He's not going to retire. He's got 1 year left on the contract. The owner of the team doesn't fire anybody ever, so I expect Marvin Lewis to, coach his 15th year for the Cincinnati Bengals with as many playoff wins as myself and Andy.
Source: Ravens Harbaugh signed beyond 2017. John Harbaugh is signed beyond the 2017 season. The source told ESPN's Jamison Hensley amid speculation he was set to enter the final year of his contract.
That's a good. As far as I'm concerned, the Ravens should have Harbaugh, their head coach, forever. What he's done for that organization, he's a winner, and barring collapse, I think he'll be there for a while.
Jets wide receiver Marshall: Richardson's story, quote, in the past. Jets wide receiver Brandon Marshall has not spoken to teammate Sheldon Richardson in the wake of their feud, but has no doubt they'll cross paths, adding, quote, that story's in the past, it's time to move on.
It's just it's a bunch of garbage, a bunch of nonsense.
Cowboys Smith injury minor, won't miss playoffs. Cowboys coach Jason Garrett said Tyron Smith will miss Dallas' season finale after injuring his right knee on Monday night, but the Pro Bowl left tackle is expected to be ready for the playoffs.
Yeah, they're going to need him. He better be ready.
Rivera: Panthers to keep Kuechly out for final. Luke Kuechly won't play in the Panthers season finale, Coach Ron Rivera said Tuesday. It will be the sixth straight game the linebacker will miss after suffering a concussion on November 17th.
That's the right thing to do. You're not playing for anything. Don't injure the guy even more.
Raiders Carr: surgery, quote, couldn't have gone better. Raiders quarterback Derek Carr underwent surgery to repair his broken right leg on Tuesday and wrote in a Twitter post that the operation, quote, couldn't have gone better.
What was he going to say? It went horrible?
Help wanted: Bills coach who can handle toxic mess find a quarterback. Finding a replacement for Rex Ryan in Buffalo might not be as easy as the front office thinks, and it starts with the uncertain quarterback situation.
That's exactly what I just said. They need a quarterback and a head coach.
Veteran special teams coach DeHaven dies at 68. Bruce DeHaven, the longtime NFL special teams coach, best known for his time with the Bills when they lost 4 consecutive Super Bowls, died Tuesday night at 68 after a battle with cancer.
That's too bad.
Don't count out Rex Ryan coaching again. Best friends know each other best, and Rex Ryan says the ex-Bills says the ex-Bills coach is, quote, not a tired old man, and that the, quote, fire is going to burn again as it pertains to his next opportunity in football.
Just like I said, I think he'll if he's away from football for a year or two, he'll get the itch to come back and coach again.
Hall of Fame game moved to Thursday night. The Hall of Fame game will be played on a Thursday night next August, 2 days before the inductions, instead of on the traditional Sunday after the inductions.
I don't know what to tell you.
Stafford: finger and glove not to blame for struggles. Lions quarterback Matthew Stafford is blaming his recent struggles on poor throws and decision-making rather than his injured finger or the use of a glove.
Good for him.
Green out, won't get to 1K yards for first time. Bengals wide receiver A.J. Green will not play against the Ravens on Sunday, according to Coach Marvin Lewis.
Yeah, he unfortunately, it's his 6th year, and he won't get to 1,000 yards. He did his first 5 years, so it's too bad. He's a good player.
Bradford, quote, all for Shurmur returning as Vikes OC. Vikings quarterback Sam Bradford indicated Wednesday that he'd like Pat Shurmur to be given the permanent offensive coordinator job at the team.
Well, he's going to be backup next year, so we'll see how far his word goes.
End of the road. Broncos Ware with his back shipped to IR. DeMarcus Ware was placed on IR on Wednesday, a move that could mark the end of the OLB's career. He's in the final year of his contract with Denver.
Yeah, I remember
outside linebacker.
When he came out, I think it was from Troy State. I think he was 10th overall or 11th overall. Hell of a player. On the cusp of a Hall of Famer. I think this was his 12th or 13th year, maybe. So, he's had a hell of a career.
Thomas backs RG3 if he's back as Browns quarterback. Robert Griffin III would have the support of the locker room if he returns as the Browns quarterback next season, Joe Thomas said Wednesday.
If RG3 is their quarterback next year, it's going to be another long year.
McCarthy, Packers season, quote, just getting started. Coach Mike McCarthy believes the Packers season is, quote, just getting started, entering Sunday's crucial game versus the Lions.
Well, if it is, they're getting started at the right time. Usually, we've seen in the past teams that get hot later, same in college basketball, teams that get hot late in the year roll that right through into the playoffs. And, like I said, Green Bay is rolling right now. I don't see Detroit, stopping them. I think they're going to roll right in the playoffs. They'll probably be the 3 seed or the 4 seed. Anyway, they're going to keep playing football, and the only thing that concerns me about that is their defense. But the offense is going to be there, especially with the addition of Ty Montgomery now being a force in the backfield. So we'll see what happens.
Lions want NFL to review flag tackle of Elliott. The Lions plan to send video of Ashawn Robinson's tackle of Ezekiel Elliott on Monday night to the NFL to review, arguing that it should not have drawn a penalty.
I didn't see it.
Budding star Dak Prescott gives Cowboys edge in NFC. After Monday night's rout of Detroit, it appears no team in the NFC is capable of stopping Dallas in the postseason, and none of this would be possible without rookie quarterback Dak Prescott's poise.
Correct.
Antonio Brown's receptions crown in jeopardy if Tomlin rests stars. Antonio Brown has a 4-catch lead on Larry Fitzgerald, but might not have a chance to add to his total Sunday.
That's the right thing to do. They sit in Roethlisberger, Bell, and Brown against the Cleveland Browns, who are trying to start a 2-game win streak.
Immaculate extension, how Antonio Brown produced touchdown for the ages. Antonio Brown is renowned for his hard work, and it all paid off big Sunday in his winning touchdown catch against the Ravens. Here's a closer look. It shows you the video.
This is only going to be a meaningful reception if they advance in the playoffs. If not, everyone will forget about it.
Dolphins place Abdul Quddus, I guess, is with his neck on IR.
Safety.
The Dolphins play starting safety Issa Abdul Quddus.
Yeah, he's a decent player.
On injured reserve after he suffered a neck injury on Sunday. Giants still plan to start Manning OBJ in finale. Despite being locked into the number 5 seed in the NFC playoffs, the Giants still plan to start quarterback Eli Manning and wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. against the Redskins in the regular season finale.
Maybe they don't think they're ready for the playoffs, but they won't play long.
Cam Newton on emotional 24 hours. Quote, "It's tough." Cam Newton reflected Wednesday on an emotional 24 hours during which he surprised a 10-year-old who has a life-threatening disease and heard about the death of special teams coach Bruce DeHaven.
It's only emotional to Cam when Cam wants to be emotional for Cam and come out and, he's such a piece of shit.
Cardinals teammates influenced by Larry Fitzgerald on and off the field. From his leadership to his on-field production to his off-field charitable work, Larry Fitzgerald is an example to his Cardinals teammates.
Yeah, he's one of a kind. Hopefully he'll be on New England next year. Maybe he's going to be a free agent.
As uncertainty looms, Colin Kaepernick focused on 49ers finale. Colin Kaepernick has no idea whether he'll be on the 49ers next season, but the veteran quarterback is focused more on ending the season with a win.
He's such a. I mean, you look at this guy's season with the American flag and all the. He's such a. This is a guy who had everything in the world, and now he's really just kissed it all away.
He's a muppet. Joey Bosa on 5-10 Chargers. Quote, "Losing's getting pretty old pretty fast. Losing to the previously winless Browns only added to the Chargers rookie Joey Bosa's frustration over a difficult first season."
Yeah, this is a guy who's probably the defensive rookie of the year, and he's going to be in many, many, many Pro Bowls.
Redskins Jackson intrigued as free agency nears. Deshaun Jackson is, quote, "definitely intrigued about his first foray into free agency, but the receiver still has work to do with the Redskins."
This is a guy who's got all the speed in the world. He can stretch the field. If he just kept himself out of trouble and his mouth shut, he'd be more. He'd probably make more money and not be on and bounce around from so many teams.
Tom Coughlin would give Jaguars a much-needed dose of discipline. After 4 seasons under the players' coach Gus Bradley, the Jaguars would benefit from a leader on the opposite end of the spectrum. He interviewed today.
Yeah. I have all the respect in the world for Tom Coughlin. I kind of have the same mentality he has about being on time and having accountability. Far often, people don't listen to what their boss says and they do their own thing and they feel as though they can come in whenever they want or leave whenever they want. And for sure, there's no question in my mind that shit's not going to happen in Jacksonville, win or lose. I think, Tom Coughlin, who, had a hell of a run, when he was with Jacksonville, 4 playoff appearances, 2 appearances in the AFC championship game, will really be good for, Jacksonville. The only question is his health as far as long-term goes. But, this guy's a football coach to the end. He's a great leader, and, we'll see what he can do. I think Jacksonville would be in its best, bet to hire Tom Coughlin.
Packers quarterback Rodgers, quote, "healing up at right time." for the first time since injuring his left hamstring on November 28th and then adding a right calf strain on December 11th. Green Bay Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers said he's feeling healthy.
Yep. Ready to go.
Ron Rivera says Steve Smith should retire as a Panther. Steve Smith Sr. had some bitter feelings when Carolina released him, but Coach Ron Rivera hopes the wide receiver will retire as a Panther.
Oh, I don't even want to get into that, but I hate Steve Smith, but he's 7th all time on the leading league. He's a hell of a player.
Raven Smith, quote, 89% sure he's retiring. Ravens wide receiver Steve Smith Sr. said he's, quote, 89% sure, a nod to his uniform number, that he's retiring after Sunday's game, ending a 16-year NFL career.
Good.
Drew Brees, quote, absolutely expects Sean Payton to stay with Saints. Saints players are confident Coach Sean Payton will return next season. That speculation he won't is not a distraction.
We'll see what happens. I know there's going to be a lot of teams after him. We'll see if they can keep him there.
Aaron Rodgers is, quote, guarantee could join Rex others in NFL lore. Whether the Packers quarterback meant it as a show of confidence or not, his declaration joins memorable quotes from Rex Ryan, Joe Namath, and more.
Let's have them win on Sunday before we start with all this. Let's have them win and see what the guarantee or whatever.
Will Tony Romo even be active Sunday? If Jerry Jones doesn't see a benefit to having Tony Romo get a handful of snaps in Dallas's regular season finale, should Romo even dress for the game?
No.
So, and this is the top headline. Last week, Tampa Bay Buccaneers running back Martin there was a healthy scratch.
Yep.
And a lot of outcry, and Coach Dirk Cutter had said he stands by his decision, etc.
Correct.
While news comes out today that he has been suspended by the league for 4 games for PED use.
No. What's the PED? It says substance abuse.
It says PED. He tested positive for PEDs and he starts banned.
So why is he going into treatment?
Going into rehab, I don't know.
So
rehab I don't know. This is what it says. Buccaneers running back Doug Martin has violated the league's policy on performance-enhancing drugs and will serve a 4-game suspension effective immediately, he said Wednesday.
Okay. I heard something different. It was
he's entering a treatment facility,
center,
correct?
So I would assume that, it was drug-related, but we'll see. It's too bad, but I'm glad that he's trying to get his life better.
Yep, so that's that. So let's go into last week and how we did. Mclovein went 8-8 against the spread. He's down to 57% going into week 17. I did the math.
57%?
Yeah, you lost 3%, Holmes.
That's impossible.
Really? All right, let's do the.
How can this? Did you actually do it?
Yeah, I did it. I was adding it up. I wrote them down here. Let's redo it. Let's redo it on camera here. Ready? 19, 30,
So
41, 48. I'm doing it now. 19, 30, 41, 48. Okay, 56, 70, 75, 85, 92, and 9 is 101, and 8 is 109, 118, 120, 136. Wait a minute. Where did I write it? I don't even know where the hell I wrote it. 136, okay.
Yep.
And then 12 and 9 is 21, and 6 is 27, and 5 is 32, and 8 is 40, and 12 is 52, and 3 is 55, and 6 is 61, and 7 is 68, and 7 is 75, and 7 is 82, and 5 is 87, right? Yeah. And 8 is 95. So 136.95. Now I think I fucked you.
231. So
136 divided by 231. What do you got?
136 divided by 231.
Yeah.
Yeah, 59%.
Okay, so there you go.
Like there's no fucking way I lost 3 percentages.
All right, so anyway, you got your 59.
So, yeah, luckily I didn't roll over that one.
59%. All right, now, last week, everybody wins a gift card except for... who tied him? Yes to anything that is cool, awesome. You ended up tying Mclovein, but let's go into the standings. It was a rough week for all of us last week. The best week goes to CV Gunn, who went 10-6. Thomas Everett, Patrick Brady Jr., and Vaddix both went 9-7, and Yes to Anything went 8-8. Actually, Cali Guy went 11-5. Now, Cali Guy won the Peon division way back in like week 3 or 4.
Yeah, when the other two were like disqualified.
So, but Cali Guy wins again his first gift card. He's going to be excited.
For him.
Yeah, so he's going to be really excited.
Congratulations. Sorry, I'm glad I sucked this week.
Yeah, so there you go. So Cali Guy actually had the best record of anybody. But I went 9-7, and you went 8-8. So let's go into the standings. In first place in the other division there, Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr., 154, 82-2. He has a 2-game lead over Yes to Anything That Is Cool Awesome with 1 week to go. Yes to Anything That Is Cool Awesome went 152, 84-2. Third place, CV Gunn, 138, 98-2. That he is 16 games out. And last place, Vadix, 110-2. He is 28 games out. I am 131, 105-2, and Mclovein is 158, 78-2. He is a 4-game overall lead to win the entire shebang, and I am 20. What am I? 131, 41, 10, 51 is 27 games back. So let's go into the scores. Okay, let's go into the fucking deal here.
That will get you fired.
I'll get you fired.
No, I'm going to keep my job.
Oh, yeah. Huh. All right, Ravens go into Baltimore. Excuse me, Ravens go into Cincinnati. At home, Cincinnati's favored by 2.
This is the most difficult week by far at all the 17 weeks. It's really a crapshoot.
It's a zebra shoot.
What was it? The Ravens at
Cincy, 2-point favorites for Cincy at home.
Cincy's favored?
By 2, yeah.
I'm going to take the Ravens plus the points.
All right, Houston goes into Tennessee. Tennessee at home favored by 3.
Tennessee -3.
Carolina goes into Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay at home favored by 5.5.
I think Tampa Bay will win that game. They need everything in the cows to come home in order to make the playoffs. So I think they'll win that game. So to Tampa Bay minus the points.
Jacksonville heads to Indianapolis. Indianapolis at home favored by 4.5.
Indianapolis minus the points. I think at home they'll beat Jacksonville by a touchdown.
New England heads to Miami. New England on the road favored by 9.5.
Miami plus 9.5 for sure. They always play tough there, and I think it's going to be the Pats have to win to secure the number 1 overall. We'll see what happens. It should be a pretty decent game, and I just hope nobody gets hurt.
Chicago heads into Minnesota. Minnesota at home favored by 5.5.
This is a tough one. I'm going to take Minnesota minus the points just because the Bears are terrible.
Buffalo heads into New York to face the Jets. Buffalo on the road favored by 3.5.
Buffalo minus the points. Anytime you have a new head coach, everyone gets fired up, and the Jets are just fucking terrible. And I don't think Fitzpatrick is going to play for anything.
Dallas heads into Philadelphia, and Philadelphia at home is favored by 3.5 in this one.
I'm going to take Dallas plus the points.
Cleveland heads into Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh at home is favored by 6.
Pittsburgh favored by 6 with their 3 best guys on offense not playing. This is a tough one. I'm still going to take Pittsburgh minus the 6.
New Orleans heads into Atlanta. Atlanta at home favored by 6.5. First 4:25 p.m. game.
New Orleans are getting 6.5.
Correct.
I'm going to take New Orleans plus the 6.5.
New York Giants go into Washington. Washington at home favored by 7.
Take the Giants plus the 7.
Arizona heads into Los Angeles to face the Rams. Arizona on the road favored by 6.
Arizona minus 6.
Oakland heads into Denver. Denver at home favored by 1.
Oakland.
Kansas City heads into San Diego. Kansas City on the road favored by 6.
Kansas City minus 6.
Seattle heads into San Francisco. Seattle on the road favored by 9.5.
Oh my god. This is definitely the most difficult one. Seattle has nothing to play for, but I'm going to take San Francisco.
Well, they could still get a first-round bye, supposedly, so they do have something to play for.
Do they really?
Yeah.
So then I'll take Seattle minus the points.
And the 8:30 p.m. game, the last game of the NFL season, regular season, Green Bay goes into Detroit for the division. Green Bay on the road favored by 3.5.
Take Green Bay minus the points.
All right, so let's go right on into the ding, 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 dingle, ding, ding. Let's go right on into our picks. Baltimore, Cincinnati, who do you got?
Baltimore.
Houston, Tennessee, who do you got?
Tennessee.
I'm taking Houston. Carolina, Tampa, who do you got?
Tampa.
Taking Carolina. Jacksonville, Colts, who do you got?
Colts.
Taking Jacksonville and Doug Marrone. New England, Miami, who do you got?
New England.
Chicago, Minnesota, who do you got?
Minnesota.
Taking Chicago. Got nothing to lose. Buffalo, New York Jets, who do you got?
Buffalo.
Okay. Dallas, Philadelphia, who do you got?
Dallas.
Okay. Cleveland, Pittsburgh, who do you got?
Pittsburgh.
Okay. New Orleans, Atlanta, who do you got? I'm going to take Cleveland, by the way.
Atlanta.
Hold on. You have Pittsburgh, I have Cleveland. Atlanta?
Yep.
Okay. New York Giants, Washington, who do you got?
Washington.
Me too. Arizona, St. Louis, or Arizona, Los Angeles, who do you got?
Arizona.
Okay. Oakland, Denver, who do you got?
Oakland.
Taking Denver. Kansas City, San Diego, who do you got?
Kansas City.
Okay. Seattle, San Francisco, who do you got?
Seattle.
Green Bay, Detroit, who do you got?
Green Bay.
I'm going to take Detroit. Ha! All right, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games we differ on, so I can finish. What am I? 28 games, 27 out, so I can finish 21 back and 30 fucking million back. And that is the last regular season football show. Now, next week we will have a football show done. The following week, we're going to do it from Aruba.
Are we?
We're going to do it from the Ritz-Carlton in
Are we
Aruba.
really?
Oh, with the sun and the sand and the palm trees. I don't know if there are palm trees in Aruba, but you get the idea. It's going to be Mclovein's Fantasy Football from Aruba.
Sounds like the Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah. Now, Wheel of Fortune would sound something like, he's won a new car! Or something like that, you know?
That's Price is Right.
Oh, really?
You just said.
Oh, all right. Oh, that's right. The Wheel of Fortune guy, he doesn't get excited. He has an excited voice, but it's weird. It's weird. He doesn't do any of that fucking hokey shit that I just did.
Yeah,
The
okay.
Price is Right guy.
What are we doing here?
We're done here.
Oh, we're not going to call?
My phone's dead.
Okay,
and
good.
It's fucking,
It's
10:17.
See you guys.
Oh, well, we're done?
Well, what else do you want to talk about?
I don't know. Fucking,
Well,
you fucking want to get the fuck out of here, it seems.
we were supposed to shoot this thing about.
Well, yeah, I know, but
6 hours ago.
I shifted. Yeah, unfortunately, I had stuff.
Right, Wayne? We were waiting.
I had to get my hair cut.
Right, Winnie?
Look at Winnie over here.
Right, Wayne?
Look at Winnie over there.
Look at Wayne. Hi, Wayne. Yeah.
She's licking her lips.
Winnie and I were waiting to shoot this one around 6 o'clock.
What do you think, Win? She's looked right at me. All right, guys.
See ya.
We'll see you.